Join me every month for the inspiration to find your finish line. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Find Your Finish Line. I'm Mike Riley, and it's not only about being able to find your finish line at a race or an event, but in life. And hopefully I have guests on for you that have overcome a lot of things in their life, a lot of hurdles they've jumped over, the success they've had. And hopefully you hearing their story will inspire you to be a better human, to be a better athlete. Well, my guest today arguably is one of the best pro triathletes that has ever graced our sport. He is the 2012 and 2016 Olympic gold medalist in triathlon. He's a four-time ITU world champion, 2 in individual and 2 in team. He's got a couple of seconds at the World Championships at 70.3 in 2018 and 2019. And his country, he's been appointed a member of the Order of the British Empire, officer of the British Empire. And some of the biggest news from our sport last year was his retirement. And now he's pursuing even more that we're going to be able to talk about. Welcome to Find Your Finish Line podcast, Alistair Brownlee. Great having you on.
Yeah, great. Thank you. That was quite the intro. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. I hope the intro did you justice because there's so much more. You know, it's funny when I research and I know a lot of races that people have done, then I go, oh my gosh, I didn't know he did that one or didn't know he did that one because you've had so much racing throughout your career. So, Allie, my first question on Find Your Finish Line for all the guests, what kind of workout did you get in today?
So yeah, it's a Tuesday morning, and a couple of days a week on a Tuesday and Thursday, a group of friends of mine meet in the morning, where you go out and basically we ride a set route that's about an hour long, as hard as we possibly can, and have a bit of fun. You know, try and drop each other and make life hard for each other on the hills. So yeah, I went out and did that first thing this morning, and then I've been working most of the day.
Well, you know, the reason I asked that question, because, you know, we're all A-type personalities. So if I get an athlete or an age grouper who didn't get a workout in, they like freak out.
Oh yeah. There's not many days since I retired that I haven't done something. To be honest, I haven't done a lot of swimming, but yeah, swimming. I mean, I'm not missing that an awful amount because I've done a lot of it over a lot of years, and so I'm enjoying having a rest, shall we say? But yeah, cycling and running pretty much every day.
Well, with brother Johnny still in the thick of it with the racing, are you guys still training together at all?
Yeah, we do when we can, but obviously it's a massive change. I mean, at one point we would train together 2 or 3 times, literally every day, and I think I've trained with him 2 times in the last couple of weeks at the moment. So yeah, it's a big change, but yeah, we still go out. We've been out actually the last been out on a couple of rides on a weekend and actually done something hard together, and still, yeah, we were both sprinting as hard as we could towards a finish line at a town sign on Sunday. So that competitiveness is still there.
Yeah, we've seen a few of those sprint finishes to the finish line. You know, we met in 2019 at Ironman Ireland. You know, that was your Ironman debut, and oh my God, was that a tough day or what?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Great event, and Ireland, as you know, the hospitality is just fantastic. The crowds were amazing, and I
Yeah.
was racing out in the middle of the Irish countryside, and there's farms in the middle of nowhere with people outside cheering you on. So that was really cool. But yeah, it was the swim got cancelled because of the chop, the cold water, and the weather. And yeah, I mean, I'm used to bad weather, but every single minute of that event, the bike and the run was just rain, and by rain, like torrential rain from my memory. So yeah, it was quite the event.
Yeah, I was standing there with, as you know, and I know you just interviewed with Joanne Murphy, working that event. I worked a race with her back in Galway back in the day, and then Ironman Ireland, and I'm standing next to her, and I have so many clothes, layers on. And she goes, "It's a nice soft day, Mike." I go, "What are you talking about? My underwear are wet. This is unbelievable."
It was wet, yeah. I mean, the UK is wet and Ireland is wet, but the west coast of Islanders, I think, is another level of wetness. To be honest, is my
It's
experience.
a tough one. You know, I've always been into a lot of the personal part of our sport, obviously along with the performances and results and things like that. But what always touched me was the camaraderie and the brotherly love that we witnessed between you and Johnny. Do you think either one of you would have ever experienced the success and what you did throughout your career, Alistair, if you didn't have your brother there with you?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, I think we were important for each other on many different levels. To obviously to train together, to push each other on, to be the best athletes we could be, to motivate each other to get out the door. You know, if it was bad weather outside and cold, and I didn't fancy like that run or that bike ride, and Johnny's going out, I'm not going to stay at home. So that motivation was important. And also kind of the process of it. You know, we were competing from being quite young, traveling around the world to training camps, standing on the start line of the biggest races, the Olympic Games, with the highest level of expectation. And I think to go through that together, I think was important. You know, no one does triathlon uh, to 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 be popular, or and it, I mean, I use famous kind of carefully, but to have recognition, and then all of a sudden the lead up to the Olympic Games in London, it was a different world. You know, we couldn't go anywhere without being recognised and asked about it. And yeah, I think it was really important that we helped each other through that as young people.
You know, I was at the games in London, in the stands. Sam Renouf was announcing the race. I was talking to him, and then the race started, and I'm looking across the water when you made your first lap, and I saw your feet like all the way up to your bum. And I'm going, oh my God, he's like running an 800-meter race. I had never seen someone run so fast off the bike uh, as that day. That had to be the experience of a lifetime, especially in your home country.
It was very special. I'd known about that race for a long time. That London won the bid to hold the Olympic Games when I was still at school as a 17-year-old, and
Mm.
at the time I heard it, I was like, yeah, that's really cool, but it's going to be irrelevant to me. You know, I'm going to enjoy watching. It's amazing that the Olympics are going to be in my home country. And then things turned out how they turned out. So to be on that start line and as a favourite, and then to be racing in front of that crowd. And yeah, you know what triathlon is like. We talk about big crowds, but big crowd
Oh,
is
yeah.
like 10 people on the side of the course, or whatever race it is. I mean, we got to be honest. You might be lucky if there's a couple of people here and a couple of people 100 meters up the road, and we say that's a big crowd. But that race really was incredible. Hundreds of thousands of people. It was 10 deep at points. You couldn't hear anything. It was really, really special. And yeah, it was also amazing to be in Paris this year on the side of the course and to enjoy it. Yeah, Paris was similar levels of support. It was just fantastic. Such an incredible venue in the center of the city with incredible crowds spectating and supporting the athletes. It was really incredible to see.
Yeah, I had real FOMO of missing Paris because I knew that would be just extraordinary, which it was. You know, Alistair, there's been moments in our sport that so many of us will never forget. I mean, the Iron War between Mark Allen and Dave Scott back in 1989, that's talked about forever. The first Olympic triathlon in Sydney in 2000, the undefeated record of Chrissy Wellington, which, from Great Britain, which is amazing. And then the 2016 ITU Cozumel race of you helping Johnny to the finish line and losing out on the gold. Did you ever imagine that that would be mentioned in some of the things that a lot of us feel has set the foundation for the sport and set the emotion and passion of the sport? That moment in time was going to be something that people are really going to remember forever.
Of course not. I mean, you at the time you're not thinking past the next second. I mean, in fact, you're not even thinking. To be honest, I mean, let's be honest. You know, it's like at the end of a triathlon, you're just trying to trying to desperately get to the end of it, and you're not really thinking what's going on. But yeah, I mean, not even after the race, not even in the hours after the race, did I even contemplate it would have that impact in the kind of in the public psyche and interest, and it was a strange one for us. I mean, that race was about performing, both of us trying to perform to the best of our ability, get on the podium. Johnny wanted to win the world title, and so really, I saw it as that we'd failed in the race, and the thing that we'd done that was really special was in the Olympics only a couple of months beforehand, where two brothers had come first in the Olympic Games. For the second Olympic Games in a row, two brothers had been on the podium. I mean, that is really unique in any sport. No one, I'm not sure. I don't think anyone else has done that ever, maybe. And then I felt like that's what you should probably get recognition from. That's what we do sport for, the level of the performance. And then actually to have that public kind of response to it in Cozumel was a massive shock, literally a shock. Woke up, switched my phone on the next morning, and it just went wild.
I'll bet. I've heard you say too, it was a little hard to wrap your head around that race for a while. But looking back, I really thought you'd say dressing up as Donald Trump in the straw race would be your highlight. Come on now.
You saw that? Wow, you've been doing your research.
Oh no, I did. I saw that right away. And then the straw race, then I saw the history of the straw race, the two farmers from pub to pub, carrying I love the concept of it all. But what inspired you to dress up as Donald Trump in that race?
Well, the truth is, I've always wanted to do that race. It's been I've grown up with friends doing it, and me never getting the chance to do it because obviously I was focusing on being a professional athlete. So then about a long time, and one of my friends who's a runner and similar, we were like, oh yeah, we're definitely gonna do it, and we agreed to do it together. We were at one of our other friends' weddings, and so we're sat having this conversation, and he said, I'm gonna ask. I'm just going to Google it, good fancy dress, and I think Donald Trump was one of the first things that came up, and we thought, oh well, how can we make it ironic? So we'll just write something stupid on a hat and then dress up like that. And I think it was good. Our hats that make America sprint again. I think, I don't know. I think maybe we could have had a better hat, maybe make running great again or make straw racing great again would have been funny as well. But who knows? And we were also thinking we need an outfit that's quite fast as well, that looks quite good, but doesn't actually slow you down. So the fact we could still run in shorts, I thought was good.
I love all the strategy involved on having a costume that you can run well in and everything.
Oh, there's much more strategy than that. You have to work. You have to work out who carries the bale when. So as one person's carrying the bale, the next person goes up the road to drink the pint. It's quite intense.
I love it. Well, hey, when you first got into triathlon as a young junior, did you have any triathlon idols at that time?
I got into triathlon in the mid to late 90s. Really, I remember I was a 12-year-old when triathlon made its debut in the Olympic Games in Sydney, and I remember staying up in the night to watch it. At the time, obviously being British, all the talk was about Simon Lessing, so that was kind of the athlete I followed, I guess, and then stayed up in the night to watch Simon Whitfield win, who later has become a good friend of mine. And I kind of did follow the Ironman world a bit, but I was much more the Olympic kind of sphere of it was really what I followed.
I watched Simon. I called a race in Bath, there in England, and Simon was in it, and it was around, those Bath, that castle with all the animals on it. They ran around there, and it was like a 3-lap or 4-lap run. And on the third lap, there was about 3 guys right behind Simon, and I see him look over his shoulder, and you could almost see the look on his face, like, okay, I've had enough of this crap. And he took off so fast, and they were running, I go, oh my God, I can't believe the separation he put on those guys in like a matter of 30 seconds. watching him race was a pleasure.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, I never really kind of crossed paths with him really because he retired from the sport before I really got going. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about following it as well. You didn't watch triathlon on TV in those days
Yeah,
or on YouTube, did you? I mean, the Olympics was probably the only event I remember watching live. If you wanted to know what happened in Kona or any other race, you had to wait for the magazine to come out a month later.
I know. I know. Thank goodness I had the opportunity to be there live. So your dad Keith was a runner, mom Kathy was a swimmer, and you just talked about, well, I haven't been swimming much, so I'm taking I'll take that as that your dad was more of an influence with you than your mom was because she was a swimmer.
Yeah, something like that. I think I definitely was influenced that I love the outdoors and love being active and love kind of exploring and fun and all those things. So I think yeah, in lots of ways that like a love of exercise and the outdoors is really important. And also both of them were a big influence on the kind of idea that it doesn't really matter what you do, just do it really well. And
Hmm.
we'll support you to do whatever that is, but you've got to put your heart and soul into it. And I think if there's any sport where I don't think there's any sport where that's more applicable than triathlon. You've got to do it at 101% to be good at it.
Well, I've always said that, especially at the pro level and even at the age group level, there's no faking it in triathlon because the honesty comes out. There's just no faking it. I mean, it tells you who you are. It keeps you solid. It keeps you humble. That's for sure. When you
Yeah, I think
when
that's very true.
you, Alistair, when you started considering retirement, and obviously I even went through that whole process in your head and all that stuff. And did you first have discussions with, say, your brother first, or how'd you go through that process?
I mean, to be honest, I had been thinking about it for a couple of years,
Mm.
and uh, I went from being less sure to being more sure over that time. We start a couple of years before. I was thinking, yeah, this is happening at some point, and I'm feeling kind of ready. I might retire in a couple of years, 10% chance, and it went to 20%, 50%, etc., etc. And over that time, I talked to loads of people around it actually, and yeah, Johnny coaches everything else, and also and family and friends. But I think I'd probably also done quite a lot of work in terms of working out what I wanted to do afterwards. It was always really important to me that I was having jumping into other stuff post sport, which I wanted to be more excited about other things that I could do than my sporting career. I didn't want to wake up the next morning and not know
Yeah.
what I was going to do with my life. And yeah, I just ultimately felt ready. It felt that it was the right time. So yeah, it was a kind of a long, slow process, and then when it came to it, I was sure it was right.
Well, I admire you and Johnny wanting to give back, and I know you want to give back to the youth of Great Britain and introduce them to this great sport. You started the Brownlee Foundation, and you and Johnny have launched the Brownlee Racing Team and investment in that for the SuperTri. So that's got to be very exciting. The giving back aspect now of your career, it seems like that is going to give you some huge satisfaction. Is that the direction you always want to go now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very proud of hopefully the impact we've had in that side of it. We started the foundation a long time ago,
Hmm.
10 years ago now, and it's had a hopefully had an impact. We've had nearly 90,000 children do free triathlons with us, which is amazing, and it's kind of grown from strength to strength. We've got a amazing team of people running it and who work on it week in week out, and help us with our events. And yeah, we've expanded a bit. Only last week we had a mass participation event in Yorkshire where I think we had 300 youth and children age, we call them tri-stars in the UK, doing events with us and competing, a competition option they wouldn't have normally in the north of England. We had hundreds of kids doing a free charity duathlon. We had hundreds of people doing a free run, and we had 1,000 people doing a sprint and super sprint sprint and Olympic distance races, and all the money raised from that goes straight back into the foundation to pay for more kids to do free foundation events. So yeah, I'm really proud of that ecosystem. It hasn't been easy, but we're very lucky to have some amazing and really dedicated people helping us on that. And yeah, someone needs to do it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
otherwise it just wouldn't happen, So yeah, I want to do more of that and have the impact I can, for sure.
And the impact, I'm just thinking about this now, the impact has to be immense because, like the race you just talked about, you just had, there has to be so many that are doing their very first ever triathlon event.
Yeah, I think so. We don't actually have the stats from our foundation who for whom it was their first event, because we don't want to have the burden of collecting that data with young people involved and data protection issues, etc., etc. But
Right, right.
yeah, I mean, the vast majority of those, it is their first ever triathlon, without a doubt, and so it is having a big impact there. And yeah, most of them, the vast majority of them, would never do a triathlon without being exposed to the Brownlee Foundation. And yeah, we're also working on that pathway to give them racing opportunities further down the line as well. So yeah, of course, you hope the impact's big. It's kind of like a big, it's like a big, almost sledgehammer of a tool, to try and capture as many people into the sport and see who's inspired by it, and hopefully they then do more of it.
And you,
But yeah, we think that's the way to go about it.
and you never know. In 10, 12 years, you could have a Olympic gold medalist come out of that group. I mean,
Oh, absolutely,
that's
yeah.
not far fetched at all.
No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, anecdotally, and we, even last week at the event that we put on, I think there was a couple of people there that said, we did our first triathlon at one of the foundation events, and then we joined a club, and now we've come back to do this event, whatever it was, 3, 4, 5 years later, and we do triathlon. So yeah, we know for sure it's having an impact. And yeah, that's very satisfying.
So, talk to me about your Brownlee Racing, the investment in the franchise and the global triathlon series of SuperTri. I had Michael DeHolst on the show a couple months back, and we talked a lot about all the races and everything. But that's got to be very exciting for you to have your own team.
It is, absolutely. I think SuperTri are doing a fantastic thing. I think they're opening up a new form of the sport that hopefully engages fans in new ways, whether that's to participate and or to engage with watching and with the elite race. I think that's fantastic. I think it's really important, and I think they're doing a really great job of that. So it's really good to see. And yeah, I think it was good they have moved towards this, or not towards. They've fully embraced the team approach, which I think is cool. I agree with it. I think to get more fans engaged in the sport and relating to the sport, I think teams is a good way to go. So yeah, we were very happy to get involved on that basis and do what we can, and to also use it as a tool to try and develop and provide racing opportunities for the next generation of British talent as well, because that they need high class racing opportunities too, and people to guide them through that.
And LA 2028, it's just around the corner, it seems like.
Yeah, it comes around fast, don't they? These Olympic Games.
I know. 4 years ago, one gets done, you go, "Oh gosh, 4 years." Next thing you know, it's like a year away, and you go, "You got to be kidding
How
me!"
did that happen?
I know exactly, exactly. You know, so now on your plate, I'm sure, like a lot of ex pros I've talked to, Heather Jackson is, racing gravel. She's running 100-mile races, and and there's so many different things you can do out there. And I know you're looking at that, but aren't you doing that the Nedbank the gravel burn stage, that 7-day stage race in South Africa in October?
Yeah, I am. I mean,
Oh,
I've been a I've been an endurance athlete for pretty much my whole life, and there's been all these cool things that I've always thought. Uh, I mean, the gravel burn is a new kind of event, but similar to that, I've been like, oh, there's all these things I've really wanted to do, and I'm like, now I've got the chance to do do them. So, yeah, I'm got this fantastic opportunity to go out and to do all these events, and I'm just loving it. Really, really, really special. And so the gravel burn is stage race in South Africa in October, November. A beautiful part of the world, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be incredible.
well, is that all individual, Alistair, or is that team oriented?
Individual, yeah.
Individual. 7 days. Do you get to take your own support group and all that stuff, or are you on your own?
You're on your own, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's really well supported by the race, but yeah,
Right.
it's not like the Tour de France. You don't have people driving behind you, giving you everything you need.
I wonder if our own Paul K will be down there calling that one.
Quite
I'm gonna
possibly,
have to,
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna have to send him a note on that. So you were part of the excuse me, the member of the IOC's Athletes Commission in Paris, part of the staging of the marathon for the Paris Olympics, where uh, uh, everybody got to do it, and you even ran it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, the for the first time in Paris, they had a mass participation event as part of it, which was called the Marathon Pour Two, where you had 20,000 people run a marathon
Wow.
on the Olympic marathon course, and about 20,000 people do a 10K as well at night. So we set off at 9 p.m. and we were running through the Paris by night, which, as you can imagine, was just incredible. And yeah, it was well. I'll be honest, it was absolutely fantastic. It was brilliant, so special until about 35K, and then it really wasn't a lot of fun. I'd had a really busy week beforehand, if I'm honest, and hadn't had a lot of sleep, and was tired, and hadn't done a lot of marathon training. So the last few K were, let's say, a struggle.
Well, you still ran like a 2:44, although you ran 2:40 at Ironman Kalmar when you did that. Did you think, well, I can at least run 2:40? I did that before at the back end of a bike ride and a swim.
To be honest, I set off thinking, no, I'm going to run 3 hours because I think that's the level where I can enjoy it.
Oh,
And I wanted to run rounds, embrace the atmosphere, chat to people. And I kind of set off, and I was like, "Oh, I'm feeling quite good here." And I ran with people for a few K, and we were chatting. And then I caught someone else up, and I was running with him for a few K. Uh, and yeah, like anything, as what I'm finding when I'm doing events for fun, basically, I got carried away.
well, it reminds me. My son did Ironman Arizona. That was in November, and then he got into Boston to do the marathon, and I knew he didn't train. And I go, "Hey, a standalone marathon. I don't care if you did a marathon at the end of an Ironman. It's different. You
Ah,
go out fast, the whole deal." Well, he ran like 12, 15 minutes slower than his Ironman marathon time. He goes, "Oh my God, that hurts so bad. I hurt worse than the Ironman."
yeah, I mean, it's probably true. I mean, trying to run stuff fast is harder. I thought at the time when I was running, doing a lot of triathlon and also running 10Ks, I think running 10K on its own was harder. Took longer for me to recover from than an Olympic distance triathlon. I mean, and the difference was only quite small. I might run 30 seconds faster in a standalone 10K, or a minute faster, but it was much harder doing the 10K, and it took me longer to recover from.
That is amazing.
Mm.
Now that you're kind of on the outside looking in at the athletes racing now, whether it's short or long distance, are you are you a bit amazed like I am at the times and how much they're improving every time we see a new race?
It's progress, isn't it? I've always
Oh,
been fascinated by progress and innovation, and by I kind of classify innovation not just in terms of you know kit and technology, but by training approaches and innovation in belief in how fast you can go and how hard you can push. Yeah, so I'm absolutely I just love following it. I love following all sports, and I've just spent my afternoon watching the Tour de France actually.
yeah,
So yeah, I love following whatever I can, and yeah, it's brilliant.
yeah. I love seeing performances. Y- and I think back, you raced to almost the point of blacking out because you come across the finish line, and if you took two more steps, you were down, or you went.
Hmm.
It looked like you were on the verge of just losing it at the finish line. Did you train that way, or was it just your nature to go, you know what, I'm going to give everything I got, and if I blow up right after the finish line, so be it?
I guess I didn't train that way. Well, I mean, I did. My training was either it's very polarized. So it was either
Mm,
really hard or really easy, actually. So I would do a lot of training that was the vast majority of my training was really steady away. I'm not actually trying to do any intensity at all. Just doing what I need to do, and then I'd do stuff that was super hard. So and in the hard stuff, for Johnny and me, it'd be like, right, the gloves are off. We're competing
mm,
now.
yeah, yeah. Well, we all know the physical aspects of our sport, but so many that I've talked to, all the way from Mark Allen, Dave Scott, the mental toughness is something that you can learn, but it more seems to be ingrained. Where do you believe mentally you kept yourself in the game?
Do you know, I've got no idea whether nature or nurture on that, how ingrained and natural it is. Who knows? Because they're so interlinked, aren't they? And they both kind of grow and progress on each other. So it's like a fascinating topic to talk about. And ultimately,
Yeah.
I just don't know. I think for me, a, uh, it was quite a kind of ingrained feature. For some reason, even from being really early on, I just enjoyed pushing myself. And my dad tells a story of me. Being being young and doing, I think, one of my first ever cross country running races, and him thinking I've gone so red and I look so unwell that he thought he might have to kind of pull me out the race and kind of administer medical attention to me. So so I think there probably was something for me, but different people might learn it and pick it up. I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, I think different for different people. But yeah, the one thing I do know it is without a doubt it's super important for your ability in endurance sport and triathlon to be able to train at the level you need and perform at the level you need.
Well, with Johnny still in the mix of racing, and you're right there with him and watching, do you feel, Ellie? Do you feel like a parent, or you're the big brother by 2 years? But don't you feel like you've got the nerves of a parent? Oh my God, I hope he's going to race well, and strategy and all that good stuff.
Uh, Yeah, I find it quite stressful, but to be honest, I think I'm more relaxed than I was a little while ago. I've just cut, I realize there's nothing I can do about it. So, there's no impact I can usefully have, and so I'm fairly relaxed about it. But yeah, I do. It'd be fantastic. I'd be like, oh, I could help there or help there, or try and impact in a positive way. But you also just have to, like I guess like a parent, you have to let people get on with it themselves, don't you, and work it out.
What do you think is going to give you the most satisfaction in the future? You've had a lot of success on the race course. You're building the foundation even more. You've got the team. We all need to have that satisfaction in our life of something that we believe is going to fill us. Do you believe you're on the right path for that to happen for Alistair Brownlee?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely see myself that I'm in a kind of learning experience stage, and I'm experiencing different things from business management consultancy to working in my own ventures like True Fuels and other things to working in investment with a VC fund. And yeah, so one thing I think I probably need for that satisfaction is to do things that are kind of engaging, interesting work that make me think and process things in a different domain to sport. And so, yeah, that's definitely part of it. Another part of it is the foundation and having an impact in young people's lives, helping people get active. And another part of it is my own satisfaction of staying active, doing adventure style challenges and staying relatively fit and being able to go out and enjoy training with my friends and Johnny just for fun. So across all of that, I like to say anything that I'm doing is helping remove the barriers to people being more active, whether that's other people through business or the foundation or me, all follows under the same
Yeah.
same barrier.
You ever see yourself, especially when athletes get older, they go, okay, I think I'm going to train for this race as an age grouper. Or you ever see yourself, maybe I'll go do Kona? Maybe.
Um, yeah, never say never. Like literally never say never. Yeah, I was the athlete when I was 18 who said, I was going to go back and study and go to university in my mid-20s. There was no way I was going to keep on going. And I was still a professional athlete when I was 36. So, yeah, never say never. And ultimately, I love staying fit. I like the process of training.
Mhm.
I like being the best version of me, and actually, to me, that's much more important than. And to do that, I need a competitive goal, and I need to be competitive. But it's actually not really about winning. It's about I just like the process of training hard and being competitive. So yeah, I'm not particularly worried about what that outlet is. It can be a gravel race one week, a trail race the next week, a crit bike race the next week, possibly a triathlon. I think it's maybe good. I'm having a little bit of a rest from triathlon at the moment, but at some point I'm going to do some more again for sure.
Yeah, it's like the old adage of you stay healthier when you cross train. You get to do different events, and it keeps you mentally in shape. It keeps you healthier and less injury because you're not pounding at the same thing. So I think you're on the
Yeah,
right track.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is good for you. I mean, swimming. I could at the moment. I could take it or leave it. I'm going to get more into it again. Start swimming a bit more. But yeah, I mean, I can't underestimate how much love being able to go for a run. Whether I'm at home or I
Mhm.
travel quite a lot. So in a city, wherever that might be, if I can get out and run to explore, or go out riding off road or on road or with my friends or on my own. I genuinely love that part of my life. So yeah, it's good.
What kind of advice would you give to an age group triathlete who's kind of just getting into triathlon? What advice would you give them?
Um, what advice would I give them? Do it, enjoy it, be sustainable. Triathlon training is all about consistency over a long period of time. So yep, do what you can sustain week in, week out in terms of your training, and improvement comes by building up over time. Training isn't rocket science, so simplify it where you can. Don't worry about the specifics, just do a good consistent amount of it with plenty of nice easy intensity in there. Slow down, most people do things too fast, and train with other people for fun.
Yeah, consistency too, and that camaraderie. Triathlon is a family. It just no doubt about that. My final question, it's called tri-table racing. It comes out of the Baja 1000 down here in the Baja, Mexico. There's a 1,000-mile race with trophy trucks, and it's insane. And I've sat in the second seat for 1,000 miles on that thing, and it's just insane. But the drivers get together afterwards, sitting around a table. They call it table racing. They reminisce about that race or a past race. So try table race with reminisce with us about something that comes to your mind about a race you did or something that happened in the race. You don't have to talk about you and Johnny and Cosmel or anything like that, but something that may come to your mind just reminiscing about something funny, something sad, whatever you want.
Something funny or something sad.
Well,
Wow.
that's the first time I ever said sad. So don't.
All kinds of funny things happened. Maybe one of the best thing was uh, we were doing a French Grand Prix race, Johnny and me once, and
Yeah.
obviously we were racing in the same team, identical bikes next to each other in transition. You're gonna guess what happens, and because obviously I was in front of him, I grabbed the wrong bike, jump on it, and I didn't even notice. Like Johnny pulls up to me on the bike and goes, "You effing idiot! You've stolen my effing bike." I'm like, "I'm fine." He's like, because I'm a bit taller than him, so he's like, "Well, I'm not effing fine. This bike's the wrong size for me." Anyway, so I'm like, "Well, do you want to stop and swap? We'll be fine. We'll get back on." He's like, "No, I don't want to effing." So anyway, yeah, that was maybe the funniest moment. That yeah, we did a whole bike in a race on the wrong bikes.
I love that. And here, he didn't. He's complaining and bitching and moaning about it, but he didn't want to stop.
No, he didn't want to stop now.
Switch bikes. That's a great story. I love that. Thanks for sharing that. Well, Alistair, I wish you nothing but continued success, no matter what you pursue. And I know that's going to be a lot. It's been great following your career, the events you've been in, and good luck in that. I can't wait to see the stage race in South Africa. That's going to be something else. So thanks for being on this podcast. It's been my honor and pleasure to be able to talk to you.
Super. Thank you very much for having me. That was amazing.
Okay, Alistair, take care of yourself and good luck. Okay, buddy.
Thank you.
And everybody, thanks again for tuning in to another edition of Find Your Finish Line. Thanks again to Alistair Brownlee and everything he's done for our sport. A true example of a good human. And you always remember you're the cause of your own experiences. So keep those experiences positive in your life, and you will always find your finish line. Aloha, everyone.